Evil individuals are terrified of you knowing the truth, and when they know you're onto them, not of being caught. They will do whatever it takes to either destroy or control you. Here is how can one see their every action before it is too late. Evil people know you figured them out. They do not acknowledge defeat. They intensify their techniques and grow nastier. Their manipulation gets more precise as their desperation becomes louder. Yet, here's the thing you are not helpless about. Knowing their playbook will help you to keep one step ahead today as we are dissecting the brutal strategies they use, shown and how Stoicism may enable one to remain calm and under control. Play the victim. Once bad people discover you solved them, they are no more the manipulative puppeteer dragging threads, undergoing a profound change. Behind the scenes, the unfortunate tragic hero of their own story, misinterpreted soul who has been offended by you, is not just a strategy, but also their survival. Strategy meant to perplex you, guilt-trip you, and cause you doubt. Your own view of reality allows me to transport you to a personal event some years ago. Thought over time and had a co-worker who was charming, helpful, and kind. Little things didn't make up. They would gently blame my suggestions in meetings for tales that ran counter to past interactions and encourage splits among colleagues when I eventually faced them. Equipped with certain instances, I was supposed to have a calm discussion. Instead, they broke down in tears. Their resistance only came from feeling so disregarded and underappreciated here. I never imagined anybody gave me any thought. Was a magnificent stroke, and everyone in the room started to feel guilty for me. I stood. I was shocked to wonder if I had misjudged them. That's the sinister capacity of acting the victim it controls, to distort your empathy and transform your responsibility into a performance. Cruelty. The deeper manipulation here is the thing individuals who seem to be victims avoid simply evading responsibility. They are deliberately attempting to control you. They know individuals with a conscience like you dislike. The concept of inflicting suffering, they take advantage of this by turning the narrative such that you feel like the horrible man their false tears are meant to be crying for. They appear powerless. Their deliberate action is meant to be a stoic avoidance from the reality. Viewpoint. This strategy complements one of our most strong weaknesses, our feeling of justice. Bad individuals realize that if they can turn the events around, just enough would cause you to start questioning yourself, wondering if overreaction, did I misread their aims? But Marcus Aurelius encourages us to pay attention to the reality of deeds, not the emotional commotion around them. The facts remain same simply because someone yells louder, and in life you have most certainly seen this strategy used. Perhaps a XIC partner when faced with their falsehoods at play in partnerships. Turn the tide with betrayals and claim I only lied because you're so domineering. When a family member who feels you've done wrong refuses to accept their actions, always been so judgmental of me. You have no idea how hard I have worked. Sound familiar? These are diversions or workplace examples. They are not apologies. Calling out a deceitful colleague for undermining a project. I was just overwhelmed. I didn't plan to jumble things around here. They change the emphasis from their actions toward their expected challenges, make you feel as if you should address them. Harsh. What can you do? The secret is not to let their antics. Using a stoic attitude, be cool and deliberate to control your story. Based on the facts rather than the performance. When someone else performs, the victim resist. Instead of trying to reassure them or change your position, say something like, I hear what you are saying. However, let's confront the situation. This does not absolve what occurred. Real issue. This brings the discussion back to the core one and maintains you're anchored in reality. Why this matters: when you allow someone's victimization story control, you hand over your authority. Wicked individuals depend on this as it causes derails. responsibility, and gives them more time to keep acting. By being strict, you communicate a strong emotional message. While it's noble to care about others, manipulation won't help you in the greater lesson. Here is that real Stoicism calls for clarity and judgment. Real vulnerability differs from contrived. Someone who really regrets their deeds will own them, but it's time to distance yourself when someone uses your empathy to get away from the consequences of their actions. Remember, being the victim is their means of cutting you off from your peace. Balance. Do not allow it define you for what it is, and be steadfast in your truth. You owe it to yourself to put your health above their theatrics. Too false. When bad individuals realize they have been exposed, their behavior will change immediately. Generosity becoming the most kind and giving person you have ever encountered, they will congratulate you and offer assistance. Neither sought for, nor may even go out of their way to get you things, or do you initially. Favors might appear like a kind of atonement. But let me tell you, this is a deliberate tactic to recover, not a change of heart approach. Control and shape your viewpoint. Personal experience. I once talked with someone who flourished on dishonesty and manipulation in my social circle after my calling out of them. For spreading falsehoods, they were rather helpful and began doing errands for me, offered me to costly meals, and even purchased a present, only because first I believed maybe they were really attempting to offset their actions, but then I saw a trend. Every time I attempted to bring up the matter once again, they kindly dodge. After everything I have done for you recently, how can you still be offended? They weren't apologizing, they were quieting me with their false compassion. Why is that? One method wicked individuals use to disarm you, they know, is deceitful faux kindness. Most people naturally want to forgive when someone seems to be kind or regretful. They present a front of virtue that causes you to second your first assessment they're not giving. They are giving to regain situational control. This technique may manifest itself in many ways. A poisonous spouse can start doing housework or arranging surprise dates after their falsehoods reveals. A two-faced manipulative supervisor could suddenly compliment your work and offer benefits once you discover they are undermining you. Buddy could offer you praises or kind acts straight after you discover their treachery, therefore emphasizing the meaning behind, I forget what I did. I care about you. Let me purchase your silence. The Stoic attitude, as we know that actual goodness is not found in Stoics. In large gestures or brief acts of compassion, it is seen in regular respectable deeds. Seneca. It is not the guy with too little, but the man who yearns more than impoverished bad individuals who pass off generosity aren't rich in spirit. They are driven to stockpile authority and control over you. Their gifts and gestures are just means to satisfy their avarice when confronted with phony. Generosity stays alert. Do their actions have strings attached? Connected, are they using this to divert from their actions? Have they taken responsibility, or are they attempting to get my pardon? How should I answer? Stoic. Responding is recognizing kindness clearly, not necessarily rejecting it completely. You may take the gesture for what it is. However, avoid letting it define you. Judgment if you feel free, pointing out the conduct. I value the gesture, but this ignores the topic of generosity that we should be discussing. Commendable, but let's concentrate on rebuilding based on most values of trust. Being composed and strong, you nullify their strategy. You reject to be controlled while keeping your. One of the most attractive messages is dignity combined with a great message of charity when true. Manifestations of mankind, yet they turn into a betrayal when they are weaponized. Of that beauty, wicked individuals take advantage of charity because they believe you will. Let us distinguish their behavior from actual Stoicism's lessons. Value content over appearances. Returns of favors may fade, but once shattered trust has to be rebuilt by constant honest behavior. False charity for what it is, a mask, not a metamorphosis anchored upon. This understanding helps you to keep your calm and guard your integrity in third turn. Others against you when wicked individuals see you are onto them and know they have lost influence over you. What then is their next action to recover? Isolating you. And how can they cause others to turn against you? Poisoning relationships with falsehoods and twisted partial truth would go to crazy to create. You seem like the villain making sure nobody would believe you when you state your truth. Let's be honest, this one stings the most as it targets where it damages your relationships, your reputation, your feeling of belonging. It's not just a betrayal, but a campaign. And the worst aspect people believe them for is that bad individuals are typically masters of charisma. They possess to twist facts or present a compelling sob tale. Just enough to make oneself look as the victim, and you, the attacker here, is the actual truth. If someone turns against you that readily sought for a justification or were never really in your corner, will find a sour taste. Swallow. But sometimes confrontation shows who's real and who's just there for. Convenience personal experience I know of. There was a period when someone I considered a close friend revealed herself to be manipulative when I questioned them. They did not attempt to deny it or even apologize. Instead, they began behind the scenes, distributing reports that I was jealous and crazy. They presented themselves as the saint who had suffered my supposed erratic behavior among common friends for weeks. Began performing and heard murmurs about me that were not just false, but also very ridiculous. First I was enraged, later I was wounded, and came to see their falsehoods weren't almost destroying me. They were about rescuing themselves if only they could control the story. They could dodge responsibility for why evil occurs. For most individuals, perception is reality. So, one important aspect of life is under control if one can influence how others see you. They only need a convincing argument. They do not need facts or proof. Tale involves psychological warfare, and it's intended to isolate you, weaken your support system. Consider it when you're cut and feel helpless. Off from pals or support, you're more vulnerable. That's purpose to make you feel as if you are battling this alone and will finally give up. The Marcus Aurelius teaches us from a Stoic standpoint that we control our thoughts. Not outside events. Recognize this, and you will discover uncontrollably strong will. What people think or lie about you. You may control your response here. The painful reality is not. The truth will be important to everyone. Some will believe the falsehood as it's more convenient or simpler. Their issue is not yours. Your role is to be tenacious in your integrity. What can you do to remain composed when responding emotionally only lends them ammo? Maintain your cool and allow your actions speak louder than their words. Words help you to extend your circle and reach to the individuals who really know you and value your character. Real relationships survive the storm, reveal them. Sometimes you have to gently call out their conduct, but do it deliberately and with evidence. Not emotions. Let their own conflicts destroy their web of lies. If someone chooses to believe falsehoods despite years of faith, accept the losses and respect, let them go. Their absence is a gift in cover the actual facts. This strategy cuts deep, as it's not just about manipulation, it's about eradicating you bad individuals. They desire not just to win, but also you quieted doubts and forgotten. But this is where their scheme fails. Have a limited lifetime. Always surfaces. It may take time, but integrity outlasts dishonesty every single time. A last thought when someone turns others against you. It's terrible, but you'll find who values loyalty and who doesn't. You'll find truth and who is influenced by rumors. Most significantly, you will discover that your knowing who you are no matter what will help you remain strong. It does not come from other people's views. May echo for a little. Your truth shall roar always. Gaslighting is the crown gem of manipulative techniques when evil people realize you have discovered their actual nature. They will stop at nothing to get you to question your reality and will twist facts very forwardly, contradict what you have observed with your own eyes, rewriting history. Why, but let's be very honest, they get the upper hand if they can persuade you that you are the one causing problems. Gaslighting is psychological warfare. It is not just manipulation. Calculated attempt to get you to doubt your own sanity, and the most sin apart. It works because you're human and have introspection and empathy. You like to think that individuals deep down are nice gaslighters who abuse this compassion and use it as a weapon against you. How it feels, picture this. Ask someone about their conduct. Maybe you found them dishonest, or maybe their actions did not line their statements. You expect them to dispute it or justify it, but they reverse the script you're using. Overreacting that never occurred. Why are you always so imaginative? Suddenly, you're not just challenging them, you're also challenging yourself. Did I actually misread that? Are I overly sensitive before you realize it? They have converted their lie into yours. Self-doubt. A personal experience. I previously dealt with a master gaslighter. This individual would miss deadlines, places guilt on others, and one day selectively forget talks that didn't fit their story. Following a very clear event, I approached them and had proof emails, texts, everything their answer. I'm not sure why you're so angry. We never spoke about this when I presented the evidence to them. Well, I thought it was just a recommendation rather than a definitive choice. You had to have misinterpreted it. It mattered not how much proof I had. I felt like the brilliance of gaslighting is the craziness for even bringing it up. It's about making you uncertain of yourself. Why? Not about proving you right. Gaslighting is horrible as it asks on your self-trust, terrible individuals. Realize that you're considerably more likely to mistrust your capacity to sense reality once. If you lack faith in your own thoughts, who are you going to trust? Their goal objective is to separate you in your confusion so they may guide the narrative wherever they want the result. Viewpoint Epictetus tells us it's how you, rather than what occurs to you. Respond to it so that gaslighting directly attacks your perspective, yet your power is in your capacity to stay grounded. The facts are facts. Regardless of how much someone attempts to skew them, how can one identify and fight against? Gaslighting. Believe your gut feeling. Most likely, this is your often more accurate than you would give it credit for. Intuition helps you log all of your interactions. Agreements or events. Proof is the counteractive to their falsehoods. Keep cool. Gaslighters flourish on emotional responses. A calm, collected attitude disarms them. Call them out if you are sure of your truth. Challenge them with details based on the truth and refuse to let them deviate by. Their deflections. Rely on allies. Sharing your experiences with reliable persons. From outside, perspective helps you to anchor you in the truth. The deep truth. Gaslighting is a kind of thievery that saps your clarity and sometimes even your relationships. But here's the one: they cannot pilfer your integrity. Unless you let them know they must gaslight you, they cannot confront their fear of your might. Truth, so they may be manipulated. A last word: when someone gaslights you, reflecting their shortcomings instead of yours, they are afraid of responsibility. Thus they attempt to pass the weight on you. Do not allow them. Remain steadfast in your truth. Please keep in mind, your reality is yours. It does not belong to anyone else. Define, mislead, or deceive you. Your strength exceeds their falsehood's truth, and you'll come out unscathed. 5. Provide drama. When evil people realize they have been exposed, they go to their most dependable diversion. Their preferred method for diversion is drama, as it lives on chaos, uncertainty, and increased emotions, because amid turmoil, the truth usually gets buried. Producing drama is not just a technique, it's a strategy they know works. if they may make the issue complex enough for people to stop concentrating on their misbehavior and start concentrating on the spectacle. Let's be honest. Ever notice how nasty people tend to be? Flourish in conflict. It is not coincidental they know that drama draws attention. Suddenly, it's about how everyone else is responding, not about what they did. They will start conflicts by picking battles between unconnected individuals to muddy. The aim isn't resolution, rather, it's distraction. Let's not sugarcoat. Drama works because people like it. It's like emotional garbage readily consumed. Addicting and finally detrimental for everyone who engaged in terms of behavior. You find someone hiding or manipulating an issue instead than confronting it openly. They erupt, "How dare you? Accuse me of doing that. Why are you attempting to ruin? Accuse me of doing that. Why are you attempting to ruin?" Anything for everyone now. Instead of emphasizing their behavior, you're caught up defending yourself or handling the fallout. They might even bring in others. The more individuals involved, the more difficult it gets to keep a private matter under public display. Concentrated on the initial issue, suddenly it's not about their actions. It's about the struggle they have generated, and amid all the commotion, their responsibility disappears into the background, a personal. Once I had a co-worker called out for claiming credit for a project they hardly helped with. Rather of owning it, they transformed the work into a soap opera and began disseminating stories that I was envy of their success, said I was attempting to undermine them, and even visited our boss with fake tears regarding. It made no difference how they felt targeted. My side of the office had facts, turned into a battlefield of gossip alliances and petty conflicts. By the time things cooled down, the original problem, their dishonesty, was forgotten. Why they do it? Drama is a smoke cover. Keeps people too busy, too distracted, and too emotional to pay attention to the actual problem. It's also a power play. Bad individuals know that whomever rules the story shapes the circumstances by generating drama that guarantees their terminologies define not the true drama, but also separates you. When you reject their anarchy, they portray you as unreasonably rational or chilly, and should you interact, your response will backfire. It's a loss-lose. Scenario from Marcus's Stoic viewpoint. By design, Aurelius stated, "You have control over your thoughts. Understand this, and when you stay cool, you will discover strength. Drama feeds on emotional responses, and focused you remove of its power." Stoicism teaches us to rise beyond petty disagreements and concentrate on what really concerns. Drama is transient noise. Truth and integrity is managing drama creators. One does not participate in drama needs. Participants refuse to play their second, remain focused, maintain the discourse. Regarding the central problem, if they ignore 3 stated limits, it makes clear you won't accept emotional theatrics or manipulation. 4. Record everything when drama calls for falsehoods or charges, but they have a record to defend. 5. If needed, enlist neutral parties and call in someone objective to arbitrate. It cuts through the cacophony. A harsh truth drama causes to deplete your energy, throws off your equilibrium and distorts your judgment. Bad individuals are aware of this, which is why they employ it. Yet, their drama reveals more about them here than it does about you, exposes their anxiety related to responsibility. Therefore, their need to keep control a last say when someone generates drama. It's not because they're powerful, it's rather because they're afraid. Afraid of losing control and afraid of face the reality. Let their anarchy drag you down to their level of calm. Remain anchored and let your honesty be more loud than their drama of fading truth suffers. Stay strong. You will outlast their storm every time. 6. Phony. When terrible individuals realize they have been detected, they frequently turn to phony apologies as a last option. Control the circumstances, but let's be clear, they are not true in acts of regret. their calculated actions meant to bring about dominance of the narrative and hold you in their hands. A phony apology is not about atonement, about preserving face, and for someone who feeds on deception, it's a potent instrument to prevent you from second wondering about their motives and from forgiving false apologies. Sound ever notice how their apologies often include conditions or justifications? They will say stuff like, "I'm sorry you feel that way. Should I have done anything wrong? Sorry, I just did this as you made me feel that way." These words don't apologies. They are either passive-aggressive blame-shifting or barely disguised excuses or guilt. They take nothing, responsibility, and gently shift the weight back to you. A phony apology is worse than none at all, very honest. Why? It seems like rapping when it passes for reconciliation while keeping the manipulation alive. Poison in a beautiful package, it doesn't cure wounds. It deepens them by making you, most of us, want to move beyond. So dispute your right to feel wounded and use false apologies to abuse your need for closure. Conflict. We hope individuals are able to change and that relationships may be healed. Evil people exploit this hope against you, providing just enough contraction to keep you hooked, but not enough to really adjust their actions personally. Experience: I once encountered someone spreading rumors about me while I at last phoned them, and their reaction was classic manipulation. "I apologize if you believe I done anything wrong. I didn't intend to offend you, but maybe you're exaggerating a little. Let's just get beyond this. Why are you harboring resentment?" Originally I felt relief, and an apology meant we could go forthright. Nevertheless, with time nothing had altered the falsehoods. So the subtle jabs also persisted, and manipulative strategies that I knew their apologies was not for me. It was for them. It was a means of quiet and control maintenance. Why they do it? Evil individuals understand that a false apology may accomplish many goals, one of which is apologizing helps one to evade responsibility and gives the impression of closure, even while they have no intention of altering to control your feelings. A phony apologies might make you feel bad, as you are the one who seems illogical for making them answerable quickly. For not adopting their olive branch 3 to restore confidence on their conditions. They want to reinterpret the connection, but only in a manner that lets them keep control over it. All regarding looks, they aim to seem like the larger person, while maintaining you in a stance of uncertainty and sensitivity. The Stoic approach, Seneca remarked, "When we educate, we learn. A phony apology reveals you who someone really is in disguise." Stuckness stresses clarity and reason to help us to see things as they are not what we want someone would be when they apologize without. Your role is not to correct them, but rather to defend your own. They are displaying lack of character. Peace. How to spot and manage false apologies. One listens to their words. Real apologies assume responsibility. False ones diminish or change nothing. Two people see their acts. A sincere apology occurs with new behavior. If they keep making the same errors, the apology was void. 3. Set limits. Don't allow a false apologies control you into trust or forgiveness. Defend yourself by clearly stating what you will and won't accept for years. Remember that forgiveness is a gift rather than a need. You are not under obligation to forgive. Should their apologies lack authenticity, you are not bound to take it a harsh fact. A phony apology exposes more about the one apologizing than it does about the person lacking it. Respect and integrity call for bravery. Nevertheless, once someone gives you the silver lining, who they are will determine how much room they are due in your life. A last word: bad individuals adopt phony apologies because they dread real responsibility. They are more concerned about appearances than with undoing the damage they have done. Let their whole words reflect this. Sincere transformation comes after a sincere apology. Anything less is just a lie. Manipulation in disguise keeps anchored trust based on intuition and reminds you someone else's ability or incapacity to apologize determines not your value. Really, it's gauged by your power to remain solid in your truth. 7. Get retribution when nasty individuals discover their actual character. They usually recourse to revenge. Controlled silence is not the spectacular, over-the-top vengeance shown in movies. Their aim is not just to get revenge, but also to destroy your reputation, your tranquility, and sometimes your whole sense of stability. And vengeance for them is about bringing back their delicate feeling of control. Exposing them has destroyed the illusion they painstakingly created and will cause whatever it takes to be back in control, even if it means bringing you down in the process. How bad individuals seldom make their revenge clear. They labor in the shadows using subdued strategies, as they know direct aggressiveness would make them appear awful. Difficult to track back to them, whispering incorrect information. Others gradually diminishing your reputation. Now people are staring at you differently, and you're not even sure why. Sabotage, whether at the office, in relationships within your social circle, will search for means to discredit you by overlooking chances. Many times, misconceptions or mistakes have their fingerprints all over them. Using guilt, humiliation, or even charm, they might be emotionally manipulating you back into their web, just serves to punish you more for using your flaws. They will uncover your weaknesses, your fears, prior errors, and weaponize them against you. Let us be brutally honest. Revenge is cowardly and exposes their incapacity. It is not just petty. Instead of owning their mistakes, we double down on facing the reality and developing from it. Their emphasis on ruining you instead of healing themselves is like seeing someone fall in quicksand and aiming to pull you down with them. But here's the terrible truth. Revenge can only harm you if you accept their acts to define you. Reflects their character, not yours. A first-hand experience: I once worked with someone unable to tolerate being called out for their poisonous behavior. I challenged them about their continuous manipulation, and while first they appeared to take it well, the venge came quietly but aggressively. They began disseminating whole facts to our shared connections, presenting me as challenging and uncooperative. They undermined initiatives by hiding vital information and criticized me worst of all for the mistakes. They played the victim, so seeming like I was the aggressor. It was draining. I began doubt myself, wondering if I had overreacted or handled the encounter badly, but with time others could see their patterns as they sought vengeance to destroy me. They ultimately revealed themselves, why they want for retribution in order to take back control. Being revealed drains them of their power. Their means of recovering it is retaliation. 2. Want you to regret standing up to them. They want you punished, to make your existence challenging enough such that you never confront them once again. 3. To attack you to help others avoid their own faults and shortcomings if they can help to maintain their image. Look awful. They believe that by contrast, 4 will help to calm their ego. For their brittle sense of self, retribution is a protection mechanism that makes sense. It's simpler: lash out more than the Stoic viewpoint. Marcus Aurelius advised the best. Look inside. Retaliation is not to be like your opponent. Stoicism teaches us to transcend petty revenge and concentrate on our acts, our ideas, and our authority over our. When someone desires retribution, their behaviors are motivated by fear and insecurity, therefore displaying their vulnerability. And a great desire to keep up appearances. As a Stoic duty is not to lean down to their level, yet keep strong in your principles to handle vengeance. Seekers 1 want to elicit a reaction. Their emotional purpose is to remain cool and collected, regardless of how tempted you are to strike. 2 records everything. If their revenge damages your relationships or professional reputation, your greatest protection is record proof. 3. Keep faithful to you. Do not allow their behavior undermine your confidence or push you to sacrifice your ideals. 4. Concentrates on your circle of influence cannot stop them from pursuing retribution. However, you can control your reaction. 5. Let time reveals the reality. Most seekers of revenge finally expose themselves. Those close to them may clearly see their habits of manipulation, dishonesty, and pettiness, reflecting a painful reality. Retaliation is the desperate deed resulting from uncertainty and fear. It is the action of one person here is unable to deal with the results of their activities. Yet here is the issue the tougher. The more they expose about themselves, the more they want to ruin you. Someone seeking retribution wants to pull you into the darkness. Life will constantly present difficulties. Sometimes such difficulties hide themselves as harmful individuals, but keep in mind that their actions mirror their not founded in nature. Your principles guard your tranquility and rise above their chaos. Evil lives on control. Your power is in not giving it to them. Thank you for viewing. If this spoke to you, like, share and subscribe for more Stoic advice. Be strong, remain calm and maintain. Until next time, rising.